Good evening and welcome to our Wednesday. Is this Wednesday? This is Wednesday night show. Tonight, Brandon Havrilla is with me tonight. We're going to talk about moving from a DJ business and doing the DJ thing to expanding the horizons and doing different things, which in this case is more than just production, like the little title says. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Brandon tonight.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
All right, we are back with tonight's show. We want to thank you guys for watching out there on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight, we're going to be talking about becoming, I should have named this something like, being more than a DJ, because you have, over the last couple of years, really diversified your business.
The last year, really, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, when we talked, it would have been, I think our first time that you were on a show would have been sometime in like mid-2017. Somewhere in that ballpark.
Sounds about right. Yep.
And at that time, I was kind of following some of the things you were doing, and you had the DJ side of it, and you were starting to kind of branch into the photo, getting into the photo booth. Today, just before we came on, you were talking about the variety of different things that you have kind of branched out into. For those who don't follow you online, kind of give us a little bit of a timeline of how you've evolved your business over the last few years.
Yeah, so, I only started my company in 2016. I've been DJing since 2013-ish, around there. And then I would say I started to take it seriously in like 2015. And at that point, I was like halfway through high school, so I still had, school to focus on. And I still do. I'm in college now, but I'll actually be done after next semester. And then after that, I think I'll be able to put even more time into the business, which is what I really want to do. But based on the company in 2016 as Redmax Entertainment, and it was just an entertainment company. My goal was just to really DJ. I was doing friends parties, families parties, stuff like that. And that kind of took off. And then I was starting to get some calls from friends of friends and friends of family and stuff like that. And you guys all know from being in the DJ industry that this business is like 90% referrals. It's a lot of referrals. It's a lot of, hey, I got your name from so-and-so. I got your name from so-and-so, or, hey, I was at an event that you did, that kind of thing. So that kind of took off. I was doing more and more DJ jobs. And then photo booths came along. I had kind of seen them in the groups and the Facebook groups and stuff as I started to join that. And I actually only started photo booths because my sister was getting married, and this was last August now. Okay. And she was getting married. She wanted a photo booth, but she really wanted to put the money into a band. So she ended up having, I think, like a 9 or 10 piece band at her wedding, instead of a DJ. So she wanted to put the money into that, and that's several $1,000s for, a decent band where we are here, upstate New York. So she wanted to put the money towards the band, not the photo booth. And I was like, let me see what I could do. We were looking at it, and she was Googling, DIY photo booths and stuff, just like I'm sure a lot of brides do, and we hate it, but she was doing it because that's what she was doing,
Yep.
And so she was kind of looking around, and she had found iPad apps that you could run off a photo booth. And this was before iPad photo booths existed. This was when everyone in the Facebook photo booth community was saying, you can't do a photo booth with an iPad, and it has to be a DSLR with this, and it has to be a big enclosed booth and everything like that. So this was like the very beginnings of iPad photo booths, and I was like, let me look into that. So I looked at like Simple Booth, and it was like $80, and I was like, $80, that's a lot at the time, and
Yes.
I kind of gave into that, and I was like, let me buy the software. We'll do it with an iPad. I'll buy I'll use a photo tripod and get a little mount for the iPad on top. And I kind of went from there and ended up doing it for her wedding, and, getting 2 bookings from that. And then I brought it to my school at one point to kind of try it out before the wedding. And a whole bunch of people there were like, hey, we want to book this for this and book this for that kind of thing. And I was like, all right, I guess people, like this and want to use it. And they really liked the iPad kind of thing. So it grew from there. And now I have, the newest, the iPad Pros, the bigger screens, the higher res camera, better software, professional photo printers and stuff. That all kind of came with it. But that's kind of how I got dragged into the photo booth side of things. And after seeing how much more business that brought me than just offering DJs, I kind of was curious as to what else I can offer and seeing what else I could offer. And this whole time from when I started in, probably 2014, 2015-ish, I started working for a local production company called Viper Studios, which does like the Saks Fifth Ave window unveiling. So if you guys follow me on Facebook, you probably saw that. That was with them. They do that every year. They do some other, they used to work with like Bloomingdale's and stuff like that. So they do some of that larger pro audio production, AV stuff like that. So I was kind of working with them, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing that, doing live sound for bands, doing that kind of thing over the DJing thing, which I've kind of grown. Now I don't really personally DJ as much. I still offer DJs, but I'm usually emceeing, or I'm playing percussion, or running the lights, or, doing more of like the production end of the event. So I've kind of been working for them. I've been working with a few other local production companies and stuff. So I've always kind of been seeing all the other opportunities that there are to make money, essentially. That's why we're all in business. So that's kind of where I'm at today. And that's why I'm where I'm at today, is because of, working with all those companies, and also working on my own thing at the same time, and kind of, seeing the best of both worlds, and seeing what's out there and all the opportunities. So that kind of brings me to today. And then from there, really what has gotten me to offer the variety that I offer is just kind of risking it and going out and buying, certain pieces of gear. Again, for those of you who follow me on Facebook or Instagram, or follow my company, you've probably seen like the LED dance stages that I have.
Yes. Yep.
That has been, that has like taken off. Those have paid for themselves probably, 10 or 11 times now.
Wow.
Just from making the purchase of them. They're not cheap. I mean, they're not as expensive as you might think. Like each cube is whatever it is, like $250 or something like that. But you multiply that by like the 20 something cubes I have. It's a lot of money, but it's paid for itself, So things like that, those stages I've made into LED bars.
Yep.
I rent out for parties. I was just telling him before, I have one going out Saturday, and then I'm going to do a wedding. So I got to drop the bar off in the morning, go do the wedding, go back, pick it up Sunday morning. It's an extra couple $100 in my pocket. And that kind of stuff is more decor, which I guess falls under the production category, because it is more than just DJing. But it's not so much the live sound or pro AV kind of production. So there's a big umbrella that everything kind of falls under. So that's kind of the story and the timeline.
Sure. As you've been doing more of these things and adding them to your business, I'm trying to put the horse or the cart first type of a situation. Was it one of those things that you had open dates and you could see the need for these things, or was it something that you were more passionate about doing? You see these different options out there, and you're like, hey, I really want to get into this. This is cool, and this gets me excited more so than maybe even the DJ side of it. Which kind of drove you to these different directions?
It was more so that kind of seeing the opportunities, and like you said, kind of getting excited by the opportunities, and seeing what else is out there, and seeing what else can be offered. I've always kind of loved DJing because that's how I started. It's always fun to DJ. Everyone wants to be a DJ, you know. But there's a lot more out there that you could do that, in my opinion, is a lot more interesting. A lot of the production jobs and just jobs in general that I'm doing now, even some of the DJ ones, require some sort of production with them. And I'm doing different setups. I'm doing using different equipment. You know, every weekend, every night of the weekend, I'm working with a different setup. So it makes it more interesting. There's a lot more stress, a lot more on your plate to figure out. There's a lot more moving components and things you got to make sure, you know, are lined up right, especially if you're doing a larger production and you've got, you know, a lot more staff on your hands that you're using to help you out with the job. If you got to rent equipment, if you got to bring in other companies to, you know, cover certain aspects of the event. So there's definitely a lot more involved. But in the end, it's very rewarding to me. You know, walking away from a production job. If you guys follow me, I did a color run in October, which was a big one. We did it last year. And we got them to grow their budget this year. And we did some custom branding on a big truss arch, like finish line. And then we vinyl wrapped the photo booth. We had the DJ, we had TVs, we had zap shots, we had a drone photographer. So there's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of moving parts and stuff, but walking away from that event and seeing all the pictures and posting that up online kind of thing is very rewarding to me. More so than it is for me to post a picture and say, hey, I DJ'd, you know, Katie's birthday this weekend, you know?
Certainly.
So that's kind of what has, I guess, sparked my interest more so into going into the production side of things and offering more than just DJs.
Before we jump into some of the production side, what have you, you mentioned, of course, you've been doing more percussion. I've seen some little video clips that you've put up there where you've been accompanying the music and such, as you know, the DJ spinning and you're doing the production element to that. I have never hired that or have been involved with that. So kind of for someone who's never done that side of it, kind of walk through what's involved with that, because it looks like it would be kind of a fun gig to do, truthfully, as someone who used to play drums.
It is a lot of fun. So I've been playing drums since I was like 6 or 4. I can't remember when I got my first drum set, but I've been playing drum set for a while. I played drums all throughout school. I played in the high school marching band and stuff. So drums have like always been with me. I've always been around drums.
Yeah.
I always got a lot of enjoyment out of them. But then the DJing came in, and as I got older, just as anyone would, I think you kind of realize that, or, you know, no offense to musicians and stuff, but I just didn't see a career path in, you know, playing drums per se, unless I was making it big and going on tour kind of thing. So I wanted to, you know, branch off and do the DJ thing and, you know, focus on what I wanted to do as a career. So I kind of put the drums to the side. They've been stacked up in my basement. This is actually one of my drum sets here. That's a Christmas tree.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a drum set stacked up. And
nice.
I put garland and ornaments and stuff.
That's
but
funny.
My drum sets haven't been set up here for a while because I've been really focusing on the DJ thing. But in our market here, it is very common, or was common when I first saw it, to have a percussionist along with the DJ. So I kind of saw that and I was like, hey, I've been playing drums for a while. Why don't I buy the percussion I need? Because it's a little bit different than playing a drum set. You know, you need bongos and congas and cowbells because it's more of a standing percussion thing. So I kind of was like, you know, why don't I put, you know, a couple $100 into this, buy the equipment I need for this, and see if it, you know, takes off. I'll do 1 or 2 events and kind of see if that works. Same thing I've done with the stages and stuff like that. A very similar, you know, kind of spark of interest. So that's kind of the deal behind that. The way I always explain it to people is a lot of people now here in our market are hiring bands more than DJs, or they want to hire a band more than a DJ. But there's some songs that the band can't play. And at the same time, you don't get the same live element that you do from a band that you do from a DJ, standing behind a DJ booth. You know, even if you have an MC out, you know, dancing with the crowd, interacting, it's still not the same element of having live musicians performing there. So this is kind of the way to bridge the two gaps. And that's kind of the way I explain it to everyone who's like, percussion with a DJ? What is that? Like, how does that work, kind of thing? So basically, I set up my percussion kit, as do a lot of other percussionists here on the island. They set it out in front of the DJ booth. And we basically are just jamming and improvising along to the music that the DJ is playing. So I've worked with a lot of different DJs. I've worked with DJs that don't beat mix, and it's just kind of a fade out of one song, fade into the next song. Those are the harder DJs to work with, playing percussion, because none of the DJs I work with have sets like a band would.
Sure.
We don't know what's coming next. We're just kind of, listening in.
Yep.
So some of my favorite DJs to work with are the ones that, beat match and give me a lot of time of the transition of the song. So I'll hear the next song coming in. And I kind of, being a DJ for a while, I know what a lot of the songs sound like. So usually as soon as that first or second beat comes in and they kind of bring up the volume a little bit, I could hear it, know what song's coming in, and it makes the transition a little easier for me. But that's basically what we're doing, is just kind of improvising along with the DJ, which is a fun aspect. It pays here. It pays just as much as it would to be a DJ for another company. Kind of like a, whatever you want to call it, independent contractor kind of thing.
Sure.
It pays about the same, maybe a little more depending on the gig or how long it is. And it's a lot of downtime. You're not like the DJ, you're not playing 4 hours straight. You're going to have downtime during dinner. You're going to have downtime during the slow dances. So there's a lot of stuff you don't play. So in a sense, if you love drumming, it's fun. It's a fun, easy way to make some money. So
that's interesting. Again, it's not something we have had here in the Upper Midwest. I have seen guys doing it at when we've been to different DJ conventions. So I saw your pictures and video on that, and it's like, oh, that looks like that would be a real kind of a fun thing to do. So excellent.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot of people who say that, like, I've been playing drums for a while. I want to try that, know. And I've seen some spin-offs too from upstate. I've seen some guys in the groups post pictures too, where they have like full drum sets too next to the DJ booth. And I've actually I've been playing percussion for a while. I've never seen a drum set with a DJ. So I'm kind of curious as to what that's about, what it sounds like, kind of thing. But if you guys are interested to kind of see what it sounds like, I have an Instagram page and a Facebook page just for my percussion. So if you just search Brandon's Event Percussion, it's just filled with videos and pictures of me playing along with other DJ companies and stuff. So it's cool if you check it out and see what it sounds like, see what it's like. There's definitely a cool live element.
So after you did your initial investment of buying some gear that would allow you to be that stand-up percussionist, have you had to upgrade or buy additional gear, or are you still able to function with the initial purchase type items?
I'm still able to function. So I went out just as a DJ might when he's first getting started and get like a lower end model of speakers or a lower end model of mixer. He'll always be able to DJ a party with that equipment. But you kind of want to upgrade and get the new stuff. As you learn more, you want to get stuff with more features, stuff like that. You want to get better sounding speakers as you do events for, bigger crowds and bigger audiences and stuff. So it's just kind of like that. But I still use the same percussion, the same drum shells and stuff. Eventually I do want to upgrade them to kind of a better quality one. They're starting to get beat up and stuff. But they're very, they're drums. Like this drum kit here I've had since I was 6. So they last a while. The only real thing you have to replace is the drum heads, which are like, $10 each, $20 each. So occasionally I'll break those, and then I'll break sticks all the time. So you got to replace drumsticks, but that comes with it. That's like saying you got to replace a roll of gaff tape as a DJ. So that's kind of that. But other than that, I still have the same equipment. I've added a few cowbells here and there just to kind of get unique sounds and try something different. But other than that, it's the same basic equipment.
Interesting. So let's bridge talking equipment. Let's bridge into some of the production things now. So you've been doing more things. You've mentioned, of course, your LED stage platforms and multi-purposing those. Gear purchases as you've gone into these other areas and diversified. How have you handled buying this gear? Because some of it's a huge investment without really knowing for surely if you can cover that cost.
Right. So the one thing I've been doing now, kind of growing in the market, still being young, not having a lot of money saved up per se to just spend. Some of these guys that might jump into this later on in their life might have a bunch of money saved up from their 9-to-5 job for a while. And they're like, hey, I'm going to throw this into this business and see, what works, kind of thing. what I've been buying, like with the stages, those stages came to Long Island. The company that designed them, I think, is from Long Island. They came out with those maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So they've kind of played their part on the island. People know about them. People have seen them. So it's not like I pioneered or came up with this idea. I'm not the only company in my area with these stages. A lot of people have them. So with that, I knew it would be something that if it didn't work out, or I wasn't able to sell them, or I didn't have enough or whatever, I could always kind of turn around and sell them to those people. Be like, hey, you guys want to buy 6 more stages? I don't use them, kind of thing. And kind of at least get my money back for them. So with the stages, that was kind of the thing. I wasn't trying to pioneer something. I wasn't really throwing out thousands of dollars just to see if it might work. I was kind of more seeing if I would be able to sell it, kind of thing, versus I know other people can sell it. And I wasn't really expecting to be able to sell it, or to sell it in general as much as I have. So both to my own clients, but I also sell it wholesale, as do most of my equipment. I rent out and do wholesale. So like the stages, I won't rent out and let somebody come pick up, just because of the setup involved and the liability, and then, just them breaking in general. So that's something, I require that I come and set it up and deliver it, or one of my guys do. But with that said, I do it wholesale. So if I normally charge a client $550 for 5 stages or whatever, I might do it for $350 for other DJ companies in the area who don't want to go buy it or don't want to go invest in it. So then, they'll hire me to do it. They could turn around and charge $550. They're making $200 on it. I'm making the money I need to make on it. I'm keeping my guys busy, and all is well.
So that concept, I think, is something that DJs in some markets, they do that very, very well. In some markets, they don't do that whatsoever. But the idea for those who have thought about that is in the business world, when it comes to subcontracting and things, that 20% number is kind of the idea. So in case of, we're going to use just really simple numbers. Say Brandon would typically charge $1,000 for whatever this dance floor system is, that the person who would book it, that Brandon subcontracting, is going to be paying Brandon $800 for it. They charge $1,000. They make their 20% type of thing, and everyone's happy. So when you guys are like, how do you price that? That's a common approach. Now, how Brandon does it and such, your numbers are bigger than, or you have a better, in your example that you just gave us, a better rate and such. But it's
right. It varies. Yeah. I mean, you
varies.
Can't always go just by percentage. What I usually tell the guys, my wholesale pricing is usually about like what you said, so that it's made so that they can charge about 20% on top of it, and they'll be right around where the industry standard is for it. Just because if I charge, $1,000 for that same $1,000 service, and then they add 20%, they're never going to be able to sell it to their clients, because the clients can just come straight to me for $1,000 kind of thing.
Yep.
So that concept, like you were saying, though, in some markets isn't totally there. Some it is. And it's more so, at least where I am on Long Island, I found that more so common in the production side of things than the DJ side.
Yeah.
DJs usually like to, if they book TVs on a job, they usually like to go buy the TVs and own them and come set them up themselves.
Yep.
Then have another company come in and set them up, and then leave and come back for whatever reason that is. And when I do stuff wholesale, I try and like white label it as much as I can. Have my guys go in with plain T-shirts, not my company T-shirts, and pull up in a truck that's not company branded, kind of thing. There's some things we can't help, though, like our road cases. They all have our logos on them and our phone number. But that's what it is what it is. And we have some guys that hire us event after event wholesale, and they don't mind that stuff. That doesn't bother them. Their clients know it, kind of thing. But in the production side of things, the production companies I've worked with and for, they're all for, working together. There's plenty of work to go around. I did a big CMX Cinemas grand opening event in New York City, that another company, local company called Deco, they hired my company to come in and do this EDM light show. We brought in like 10 moving heads and stuff for this grand opening on their EDM floor. And that company, Deco, that got the contract, basically, they got paid the full amount, and then they subbed it out to other companies to handle all the different aspects. That was a big event. It happened on like 4 floors. There's a lot of moving parts. And I don't blame them. I mean, if I had that event come to me, I would have to sub stuff out too. You just can't handle all of that, all the time. So the wholesale kind of thing is what I found here is more popular amongst those bigger production companies to kind of be cool with another company rolling up and another company sharing it and advertising it kind of thing. And just all working together. Everyone has something unique and, something that they offer that the other company doesn't. So.
And I think that's a very good relationship you're able to build with that, as opposed to a typical DJ thinking is that, I need monitors. I'm going to I go run to Walmart and buy 4 50-inch monitors. Then I buy the stands for it and do that. And then I use them on 2 gigs. And then they sit.
Right.
Whereas in your case, you were able to diversify your portfolio and work with other companies. You have the things, they're paying for themselves with what you're doing. Yeah, it may not be under your banner, but let's face it, money's money. And
right. That's the thing. And I recognize that. Like, what I always tell people is, this is what I want to do full time. As soon as I'm out of college, I'm going to put the car in drive and really push stuff more than I've already been pushing it. But I want to do this full time. There are a lot of people here that do this full time, and there are a lot of people here that just do it on the weekends. And I think everyone deserves their cut of the pie. And the way I see it is it's not worth burning any bridges.
No.
The more relationships with companies you could build, whether they're an awful company and you don't like their product, or they're an awesome company and they have tons of stuff that you could see yourself renting or wholesaling out or whatever. It's always worth making that relationship and just being friends with everybody kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way I kind of am now. And that's the way I see it benefiting me in the future down the road. If I'm ever in a pinch, I can call any one of these companies and be like, hey guys, it's Brandon from Red Max Entertainment. I'm in a pinch. I need 3 more cocktail tables, or I had a DJ back out for tonight. Do you have anybody available, or anything like that? And I'm pretty confident that 98% of them would be willing to, jump in and help. And likewise, if any of them need something from me, whether they've, underbid me on a client or not, I'm going to help them out. That's just who I am. But that's the best way. There's a lot of money for everyone. And there's some stuff with other companies too, where I could easily go out and buy the thing myself and then just own it. Or I could just go to this company and wholesale it through them and let them stay busy, let them keep their guys busy, let them make a little bit of money. I could still make money on it and everybody's happy. Yeah. And I'm not worrying about something that maybe I've never done before, or worrying about, hey, do I have everything I need to make this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Like they do it every weekend. Let me just let them do it, So that's the way I see it. It's definitely good to just network and have relationships.
These relationships that you build, how many during the week type events have you been able to pick up? Because I've noticed there've been nights where you're like gone during the week doing things with this.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened a lot. I know months back previously too, where, just with weeknight shows. And for those of you who have followed me on YouTube, I don't think I've posted a video since like July or June. And I apologize for that. I'm going to be back right after the holidays. So happy holidays, everybody. But I'll be back right after the new year. I promise. Things are starting to slow down a little bit until probably May, and then they'll pick back up. But I've gotten a lot of weeknight stuff from both other companies and my own stuff. Some holiday parties I've gotten are wholesale in a sense. Some of the bigger wholesale contracts I've had are actually for DJs that all they do is DJ and they don't own any equipment besides their mixer. Whether they just DJ clubs and they don't need to own anything else, or there's one guy in particular that I work with that doesn't really do that. He does DJ, parties, but he doesn't really push it. He just owns his controller, and every time he books a party, he hires a company to come provide everything.
And does that, yeah.
So he does a big corporate event in the city, holiday party every year, and he hires a company to come in. So this year he hired me because he used me for a wedding too. He wants to use me next year, and all the events in between. And he basically hired me to come in and provide the full sound system, the lights, the front board, everything else, the video, the TVs, everything except for the DJ himself,
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of did the show. And I had my guys, we just hung out, we got free food, and whatever. And that was one of, the largest wholesale contracts I've done so far for another company kind of thing. But I've had a few of those. Holiday parties, not so much, but in the summer and stuff too, I get a lot more rentals that take up my weekday or my weekdays, like the LED bars and stuff, furniture. I've got like the cocktail tables, any lounge decor, stuff like that. A lot of that stuff, which is classified more as like rentals. Almost, not so much as like a tent rental company, but similar to a tent rental company in that they don't really work on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're usually off, maybe Friday, but Saturday and Sunday, the tent company rental people are usually off. They usually work Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they're picking up rentals. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're dropping off rentals for the next weekend. So they usually drop it off. If you guys have ever rented a tent for, party, how that works. They come drop it off during the week. They leave it with you for the whole weekend, and then they come back and pick it up the next week. So like the LED bars and that rental stuff that I've been doing where I kind of deliver it and set it up is nice because I get to schedule it whenever I want, which I usually schedule on the weekends during the weekdays, because my weekends are usually filled up with events, and anytime that's not filled with events, I want to spend with family and be home and relaxing kind of
do
thing.
What you can, yeah.
So that's kind of been the most, weekday work is those rental things, but I do get a handful of holiday parties. I had a handful this year that were under my own company name, just DJs and photo booths and stuff, as well, that were weekday events. So that's cool. It's good because it keeps you busy, during the week. And with a lot of the production stuff, I'm noticing more and more as I get larger production jobs and stuff, there's a lot of back end stuff, and preparation that will take up your week and quickly fill up your calendar during the week.
Quickly, yeah.
Not all sitting at a desk doing paperwork, although that is a big handful of it, just answering emails and stuff like that. But everything from, charging lights to maintaining lights, with the LED bars and the acrylic furniture and stuff I have, it's all got to be cleaned after almost every job. I've been doing pipe and drape recently. The drape's got to be folded. It's got to be checked for stains and brought to the cleaners and dropped off. These larger production events where you have to go out and rent some equipment or rent some extra equipment. Somebody's got to make those runs during the week before the event and after the event to go pick up the equipment, go drop it off kind of thing. And then you've just got networking and being on top of your social media and stuff too, which kind of fills in every hour that I didn't just cover.
Exactly.
So that's, there's a way to, for those of you who say you can't do this full time, there's definitely a way to do it full time. And even with the DJ side of things, I could easily see it taking up a lot of your week too. If you have, 3 weddings a weekend, there's a lot of planning that goes into that. And then the more you get involved with photo booths and dance floors, or bistro lighting's big here by us, like over the dance floors and rustic rentals and furniture and stuff like that, the more you get involved per event, now the more preparation you have too, both, paperwork and planning and stage plots, the floor plans, all that stuff. So,
yeah. Quite a little business change you've had here in the last year, and really diversification. There's a couple of questions there. Let's hit those, and then we're getting towards the end here. Reggie asked, when you're working subcontracting like that, and if they cancel a job, what happens to your paycheck for the night?
So, that's a good question, and there's, I guess, 2 sides to that. There's the side where I'm kind of an independent contractor as a percussionist. And then there's the side where I'm wholesaling like a photo booth or a rental item kind of thing to another company. Sure. With the rentals, like if it's an LED bar or a photo booth, I'm doing wholesale for another company. If it's over $1,000, or like $995, I do. If it's over that, I take a deposit, and then the deposit's non-refundable. And then, the balance, that deposit's enough for me to cover, whatever time I put into it, any staff, any rentals. If I have to rent something to fulfill that contract, that amount will be in the deposit. This way I'm covered. And that's the way I work that. Anything under 1,000, I don't really take a deposit for, but I still have them sign a contract no matter what. And in the contracts, I usually put, something with the payment terms that if it's, within a week canceled, I'm still owed the money kind of thing to cover my staff and stuff that I've already scheduled. Of course, again, back to the whole relationship thing. It's usually not worth fighting over a job under 1,000, to if they're, don't want to pay it, or if something popped up and the event was canceled for some unforeseen reason kind of thing. I'm reasonable. I'll work with them. But at the same time, you got to have a contract in place or a deposit for certain jobs to kind of cover you with that stuff. With the independent contractor stuff, when I play percussion, I don't really do a contract. I don't do a performance agreement. It's something I thought about doing in 2019, but I haven't been doing that so far. I've just kind of been taking the dates and just kind of taking their word for it. If it cancels, it cancels. But, the thing I've always said is, the right thing for me to do as a company owner, if I have an event cancel last minute, and I had staff assigned to that job, I'm still going to pay them, whether it's out of pocket or out of the deposit or whatever. I'm still going to pay them. If it's something crazy and they were getting paid a lot kind of thing, and, they kind of liked having the day off anyway, or whatever it was, or whatever, maybe we'll compromise. I'll pay them half, I'll pay them whatever. But we'll work something out to compensate them for holding the date for me kind of thing. And it depends on what they're doing too. If they're just, roadieing, that's different than if they were DJing the event and they could have, booked another DJing event or whatever. So at the same time, I kind of expect other company owners to do the same. If they book me for percussion or something like that, and something gets canceled last minute and I save that date for them, I kind of expect them to compensate me in some way for the time and saving the date. So. Sure.
That inventory time is an inventory item for us. Let's see. See if Karaoke asked about if your stuff was eventdecor.com stuff.
It is not eventdecor.com. I've heard of that. I want to say that's a Chinese company. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure myself.
I'd want to say that's a direct from China company. Or theirs might be eventdecordirect.com. I'm not sure. Or they might be the same website.
But it's not the one that you use.
But it's not the one. It kind of depends on what I'm buying. I'll give you guys a few names for like white leather couches and furniture items. I use Modern Line Furniture. They're a popular company that sells all that stuff. For pipe and drape, I use Georgia Expo, which is a typical, you've seen them, they've been at the DJ Expo and stuff like that. So they're a typical pipe and drape company for that. And then all the staging and stuff like that, I get made locally by acrylic shops, and some of it I cut myself too. Even like the acrylic for the stage size and stuff, I'll just buy a 4x8 sheet and take out a table saw and cut it myself. So, but that's that.
Sounds good. So let's talk about the lights, the LED lights behind, because you were working with was it Synchronous?
Synchrony. Yep.
Synchrony. There we go. So, okay. I know it was an unusual. But yeah, you were working with Synchrony earlier in the year, and you were telling me that you were going to have at some point in time some really cool stuff to talk about. Are we to that point?
We are there. The video is one of the ones that I want to make in 2019. That'll be a full video on this. I have some videos on Facebook already. If you probably search my name and then search like Synchrony or something, it should come up with like posts I've made with that name in it. But I use these actually in my LED stages to kind of see what they look like, and it creates a really cool effect rather than using like an uplight in each stage. But these are really cool. They're fully released, so if you guys want to buy them, you can go to Synchrony LED, and this I'm using as like a Christmas tree lights, but you could use them for anything. You could put them in your man cave, you could put them under a bar, or to backlight counters in your kitchen, or whatever you want to do with them. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do. They make two versions. This is like the LED strip version, which is a IP rating. So you could like outline your house with it if you wanted to. And then they also make a pixel version, which are like individual pixels. So if you were making almost like a light bright type thing and you wanted to spell out words with it, or if you wanted to put them in a real tree or a Christmas tree kind of thing, you can get that pixel version. There's a lot of cool stuff with you. A lot of cool stuff you can do with them. They have a little controller that can go sound active, which I think is what it's doing now. The controller's like inside, so it might not be picking it up, but they can go sound active. And then there's also an iPad app that's fully released now. Initially, when I got it, they had sent me a small iPod with like the beta app on it. It wasn't really on the App Store yet. So I was messing around with that. It was a little glitchy and stuff, but the full version's out now and it works great. And you could actually choose what colors you want. You can choose the pattern it's doing, the speed, the brightness. You can control everything from in the app, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you can turn them on and off and stuff. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And you said that was Synchrony LEDs, SYNCHRONY LEDs.com. I knew I'd work on it because I popped it up. It took
to make sure it's LEDs. Yep, that's it.
SynchronyLEDs.com.
They've got a holiday sale right now.
Yeah.
20% off if you guys want to stock up.
Yep, you can go check it out.
They've got a bunch of cool stuff, but they've got some cool pictures and stuff of them used on real Christmas trees outside. They've like outlined a pool with them, which is pretty cool. So you can do some cool stuff with them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And like I said, you can purchase them right from their website if you're looking to purchase them.
Excellent. Well, Brandon, thank you very much for your time tonight. It was good catching up and seeing what you've got going on with the different business things here, and looking forward to you getting back to YouTube and doing more videos out there.
Definitely. Same here.
Thank you guys for being with us tonight. MJ's going to be going in about 20 minutes, about 9 o'clock Eastern. He'll be starting tonight's music and mixing show, so you guys can catch that at youtube.com/discjockeynews. Have a good night, everybody.
Happy holidays, guys.